The way we identify elements in chemical equations is by their abbreviations, and the abbreviations, nicely enough, come from the element names. What is not always so nice is that some of the elements also have a Latin name. In the past, Latin was the language of science. So it turns out that many of the elements that you're familiar with, for example, gold and silver, have abbreviations that are based on their Latin name. The abbreviation for gold, for example, is AU. Its Latin name is auric. The abbreviation for silver is AG. I don't know what its Latin name is. Iron is another one with a Latin abbreviation. Its abbreviation is Fe, ferrous. Starting with these common elements, we can see that abbreviations are generally two letters, and the first letter is always capitalized. This is how we can tell that there's a new element in a chemical formula or equation. Here are three other elements that you're probably familiar with, and each one of them has a single letter that is the abbreviation for their name. Oxygen is simply O, but it's capitalized. Nitrogen is simply N, and sulfur is simply capital S. These abbreviations are obviously based on their English names. Let's see what we've learned about element abbreviations so far. We've seen that the abbreviation can be based on the Latin name or the English name. We've also seen that the abbreviation can be either one or two letters, and that the first letter or the only letter is always capitalized. In just a second, I'm going to show you how important this capitalization rule is. For right now, I want to talk about some of the elements that you might see in the table that have three letters in the abbreviation. For example, you may have seen an abbreviation, something like this, in the table. This is the abbreviation for an element that has not yet been discovered, and therefore it hasn't been given a name, but it's predicted by the table, and so they've kind of reserved a place for it, and they've created a way of talking about it by giving it this three-letter abbreviation. So all of the elements that you see in the table that have a three-letter abbreviation belong to elements that are only predicted but not yet discovered. Once they've been discovered, I'm sure they'll get a very nice name. Here is a very simple chemical formula. It consists of only two elements, hydrogen and chlorine. Notice how the use of the capitalization rule tells us clearly that there are only two elements that are part of this formula. Here's another simple formula, and again, at a glance, we can see that it contains only two elements. Ba is the abbreviation for barium. While we've seen O before, that's the abbreviation for oxygen. Once again, the use of the capitalization rule makes it perfectly clear that there are only two elements. Before we stop, I would like to say that I think that every effort has been made when there are two letters in the abbreviation to make those two letters be the first two letters of the element name, but that's not always possible. And let me show you a little sequence right here. There is a noble gas whose name is argon. So argon is ARGON, and its abbreviation is AR. Well, now there's another element named arsenic, which is a poison. So it can't be AR too, or it would be too confusing. So arsenic got to be AS. And then there's another one that's called astatine. And astatine should be AS, but that was already taken. So astatine got to be AT. So if you see an abbreviation that seems like a stretch, you might want to look around the table and see if there's a reason such as this for why it is the way it is.